Welcome to the Daily Gamer podcast number 33. Woohoo. And this is a bit of a special one because we're actually inside ZGames Dubai Hills Mall with our favorite Ali Whitey. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited. We had you on the podcast like a couple months ago.
Around your birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. And the great thing about it was I would start saying a story about something and you were like, yeah, so the story, and you knew way more about it than I did, which is great. So to be honest, like I've brought you on here to be like my guru.
Okay. Oh, no, man.
James, who usually comes on the podcast, unfortunately, he's away traveling for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So, we thought, hey, let's come down. Let's see Ali in his place of business.
Yep.
Or one of them. You've got lots of these places.
Natural habitat, yeah.
Yeah, in natural habitat. And it's great because we're literally surrounded by so many games.
Yes, exactly.
Which is just so cool.
Imagine if this was your room.
I know, yeah. It would be pretty sweet. We're going to try and do loads more stuff here. We did a video, me cleaning my PC a few days ago. So when that comes out, we will be all over YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. And I tell you what, he did, Dassen.
Yes.
He did a fantastic job. My PC, I've had it for like over 5 years.
Okay.
And I've never cleaned it properly.
Oh, no way.
I've a couple of times opened it up and just blew some dust around.
Okay, you did that on what, Friday?
Yeah.
No wonder we had a sandstorm that day. Now, a lot of things are clicking up finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
But no, it was pretty bad. And I tell you what, I was so shocked that my PC once looked like that.
Right? I'm sure the end finish made you feel like you just bought a new PC.
It 100%.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he was kind enough, and ZGames were kind enough to gift me a few new fans and a new CPU cooler. To be fair, my CPU cooler was hanging off.
By a thread.
All of the thermal paste was completely dried out.
Okay.
And I did say to him when we got here, I was like, by the way, my CPU keeps running like 100%. And then he opened it up and realized, I think it's because
nothing is connected.
Your CPU cooler isn't even attached properly. There's no thermal paste. It's probably just, it needs a bit more cooling. It's just overheating.
Yeah.
So let's see. Hopefully that's fixed it. But I wanted to get into a bunch of different things today with you. We've got 45 minutes, an hour just to chat.
Yeah.
To start with, let's talk about nice, easy breezy stuff. But we are going to get into a little bit more, in a way, it's kind of sad topics, which is, redundancies in gaming, right? Which we all hate. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But for now, I want to talk more about what you do for those that didn't listen to the last time you were on the podcast.
Okay.
More about what ZGames is and how you can learn more about it. And just new games that you guys are promoting and excited for.
Sure. So for those who didn't watch, I think episode 30 or 31, my name is Ali Al-Sayed and I'm the PR and marketing manager for ZGames. ZGames is your one-stop shop for all your gaming needs, whether if it's software, accessories, cleaning your own PC like Joe did, buying a new PC, buying PC accessories and all that stuff. ZGames is your place to be. As for new games, it's been quiet recently. In March we had Dragons Dogma, and recently we had Sandland from Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
Also you have Elden Ring coming soon.
July, right?
June 21st.
Oh, end of June.
End of June,
yeah. In my head, I'm just thinking July because it's,
Yeah, honestly, June has become an interesting month in some game releases. Also, we don't distribute it, but it's coming out, worth mentioning as well, is Senua's Blade.
Yes.
The second one's coming out on 21st of May as well.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's been slow couple of months.
I always am surprised by it because you would think that people would just release so many games in June for the summer holidays.
You would think so, but apparently it's not as profitable as releasing
Christmas.
it. Yeah,
just
exactly.
Fall, November.
Yeah.
October, November. Yeah.
Technically, your gaming season starts from September onwards.
Yeah.
As of late, because of indie games and everything, it became an all year long. But even entertainment in general starts with fall, ends with spring, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a whole circle again. So yeah.
Just surprises me, especially for the younger generation who've got 2 months off. Well, in UAE where we are, it's literally the whole of July and August they have off.
Exactly, and due to the heat as well.
Some of those games,
right?
Maybe they'll release games that are more focused to that audience, right? Maybe that's what it is.
And by default, all of us have a huge backlog now. So even if they release something in July, we might end up playing it next July. You never know. Yeah.
Mate, I have this really, problem, which I'm sure everyone has, is I have to and I've learned to control it now, about going, these are the games I want to play. And then I go, Joe, which game do you want to play most? you're probably never gonna play those games because
Yep.
you're not gonna have time.
Yep.
So which games do you want to play most? And then I go, okay, that one. And then I play that one. If I get bored after like 5 hours, then
Yep.
I'll go, okay, now it's on to number 2.
Wow, 5 hours. You're generous. Okay.
Yeah, I am generous. I do really like to give a game time before I got to be honest. I gave a lot of time to Skull and Bones,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed it. But after putting in loads and loads of hours and got to like the end game, I was like, nah.
What was I doing? Yeah.
Yeah, like I probably could have played 5 hours of this game and stopped playing, but I was so determined to get to the end
Okay.
and build up my ship and
Yeah.
stuff, which in a way is probably good job to the
It was
developer,
fun.
to
I'm
Ubisoft.
sure it was
to-
fun,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I tell you what, it was a good reward once I got the ship fully built and I was able to just smash everything else. It did feel pretty good. It
Okay.
did feel pretty good. But right now I'm playing Dragons Dogma 2,
Okay.
which you guys do stuff with,
Yes,
with the
yes,
releases
yes.
of that. Do you want to tell us a bit more about how that works?
So the game came out on the 22nd of March. It was again an anticipated game for a lot of P gamers. I've been haunted about it from media, which I always love. But so far it's been doing well. It's an amazing to see a game that still has this much of weight, especially with knowing that the first one came out in like 2010, 2011.
I was going to say it was over a decade
Yeah.
ago.
So you're seeing that a game that came out 12, 13 years later, and it still has a huge following, and
Yeah.
and from what I've been seeing for the past few weeks, despite the small backlash that happened with the DLCs and all that stuff, the game was still doing well for the first 3-4 weeks, which for the first month.
Yeah.
And we were very happy to be able to get it approved also with the ministry, because at some point it was going to be banned, but luckily we managed to get it approved as well, so it was
Okay.
available for EA players.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've really played it, anything in Dragon's Dogma 2 that I thought, oh, that's ban worthy.
Yeah. See, the thing that we appreciate...
It's pretty PG for the most part.
For the most part, yeah, but you have certain parts here and there,
Yeah.
which again, that's why you have this amazing age rating system that you make sure that, okay, if you're playing this game, that this game is for 21, it's for 18, it's for 16, so it makes it
Yeah.
a bit more transparent for
Makes
people
sense.
as well. Yeah.
I am loving it though.
Yeah.
I did talk about it a lot on the last podcast, so I won't go into it too much.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I that type of game, open world, RPG, fantasy, like that is right up my street.
Yes.
Like, I love that type
Yeah.
of stuff. So, for the likes of it's not like for like game, but you've got kind of games like Skyrim or something like that, right? It's similar kind of vibes to
Yeah.
that. But I feel like what they've done is they've taken all that genre and they've kind of made it their own and done their own cool things with it.
With a twist.
With a
midway.
twist
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
make it like that much more different but same. So you're like, oh, this is what I love doing. Oh, but it's a little bit different than the rest of them, so I'm still having fun with it, and it's not a boring it's not like I felt like I've played it many times before.
Exactly. I mean, listen, when it comes to these like RPG open world games, the format is going to be the same, right? So you mainly heavily rely on the content that you have, whether it's storytelling or side missions or and you had a lot of examples that came out recently, which is The Witcher, for example, The Witcher 3. And you see till date the amount of attention and everything that it's been doing.
Yeah.
So hats off to Capcom to still finding that twist and still finding that extra points added with storytelling and everything, to not only bring old fans but to bring new fans to it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right, and I'm glad they waited so long because I think they absolutely nailed it. It's so polished. I haven't. There's not one thing that I've really gone, oh, don't really like that.
It's a tough competition these days.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's little things you can nitpick on.
Of course.
But as an overall game, I am like just all for it. Super happy.
Yeah. No, I would say continue playing because we talked off air and you said you played like 25 hours.
It's probably over 30 now, to be fair.
Okay.
Because I tell you what, you sink 5 hours into that game without realizing it's been 5 hours.
Exactly.
And I think that's mainly due to the fact that you have to run everywhere.
Yeah.
You do have to take your time with this game. You do have to sit there and, you're sat there whilst your character's running, losing out of stamina, jogging for a bit, then running again.
Yep.
You can fast travel, but it's not like unlimited fast travel wherever you want. You have to be quite tactical with it.
And that's the idea, right? The idea
Yeah.
was, basically, no, rather than you fast traveling, no, it just keep traveling through the world that we have for you, because you'll find a lot of
That's the
interesting
thing.
stories. Yeah.
That's the thing, is like at the start of it, I had that mentality. It's like, no, I just want to get there, that place now and do that and do that. And now I'm like, I don't even want to do a quest. I'm just going to find a new
lost.
place that
Yeah.
I haven't. And it's always fun.
Yep.
You're like, I'm just going to go down that cave and see where that takes me. Then I'm going to go through these trees that I've never explored before. And like, because like on your map, it will tell you if you've been there before or not,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go, you know what, I'm just going to walk that way and see what happens. And you encounter a boss or something that is just like interesting. And once I got my head around just going, hey, Joe, just go have fun.
Yeah.
And just go explore. And who cares about all the quests you got to do?
Exactly.
That's when I got lost in the game and was like, yeah, I love this.
The idea behind Dragons Dogma is for you to literally just immerse yourself in the world that's happening, and get lost between the main quest and the side quest, and just enjoy the world as it meant to be.
I agree.
Yeah.
What other games? So that's Dragons Dogma, obviously one of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
What have you got in the pipeline for, I guess, for ZGames, but then also for? So how does it work? Sorry, with the publishing side of things, do you want to explain that a bit more?
So what happens usually is we get notified beforehand that a certain game is coming at a certain date, and they start sharing with us the assets and all the things that we need to do. And of course, we respect the embargoes and everything. So if you always see it, like once a game gets announced and pre-orders are available, you'll always see it on our website, on our socials as well, because as I said, we get things beforehand.
Yeah.
What's coming for us in the pipeline, we're opening 2 new stores, one in Yas Mall and one in Mogorer Mall. That's very soon, within the next month or so.
Crazy.
We're still working on our expansion plan, which is by the end of, mid of 2025, hopefully we'll end up having more than 50 stores across the region.
Amazing.
And we're trying to expand our distribution as well, not only to this region, but also to South Africa and Turkey as well, and more countries to come. Yeah, so we've been trying to go on those steady growth, basically, be reachable everywhere. We've been also working on our website, enhancing our customer experience online for those who likes to do online shopping.
Yeah.
So lots has been happening with ZGames.
Obviously, we're in one of your stores right now, and it is a nerd's paradise, right? From cosplay stuff to to card pack decks,
Pokemon cards,
collectibles, to obviously all your games, PCs,
everything.
monitors, pretty much anything you want to do that is just nerd related is probably here.
Yeah.
How is that now, in this day and age, with having stores, like you're opening more stores, so it must be doing well, but then to the online shopping type thing for games, and obviously you can buy games digitally now.
Yeah.
But are you still seeing that people want to come in the store and spend their money here?
In this region, moving fully digitally is not a thing that everyone supports, because again, like in some countries, you have the internet either being too expensive or too weak for you to rely heavily on downloading everything digital.
Yeah.
So yes, retail stores in the region is still a thing, and it's still going. Like even with, you can see it with other categories as well, such as Amazon, Noon, all these like H&M, all these brands, right? Yes, they have their online ordering websites and everything, but you still see the shops being full. Yeah. Which means that yes, the retail power is still a thing in this region.
And I think mall culture, if that's what you call it, in the UAE especially, is just huge. Like people go, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? Mall.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone always has their kind of the malls they like to go to. And like whenever I'm here, I just pop in to the shop.
Because you never know, you might see something.
My wife wants to do some shopping, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to ZGames for a bit.
Come to the gaming paradise.
Exactly.
Yes. So retail is still doing well. What's coming up also in our pipeline, we have Elden Ring DLC coming in 21st of June. And
so excited for that.
Same here. Also, you have Star Wars Outlaws in August.
I'm also very excited for that.
And as we saw today, they have today's Wednesday, 15th of May, so that they have an announcement tonight for Assassin's Creed. We don't know. So yeah.
Yes, well they called it, because it was Project Red, and now they've called it Shadows.
Shadows, yeah.
So we know the name now. But we should find a trailer. I
Tonight.
mean, to be honest, by the time we post this, we would have already seen the trailer.
The trailer, yeah. It was amazing. Go watch.
Yeah. Oh, what a trailer. But yeah, so we'll know more about that by the time this is posted. So look out for that. And
I think
I'm
honestly
excited.
in June things should be more clear software related because again you have the summer. I love how I can't even speak today. The Summer
That's
Games
okay.
Fest happening in
Yeah.
June, so that's hopefully we see more new releases or like update about upcoming games as well.
Yeah.
So for now it's just the calm before the storm, as they call it.
I think last year it was like we had all of these games lined up, and I think that was because COVID and everything. Everyone pushed things back, and it all kind of got pushed to 2023.
Yeah.
So we knew what games were coming out, and there were a few surprises, but mainly we were just,
We're waiting
knew
for
what was
games. Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
This year feels like we weren't really bothered about what games were coming on a whole, but we just kept getting surprised by hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pal World, gotta be honest, I did play that for a while. It was quite fun when it came out.
Yeah.
I followed the hype and it was fun. I mean, I did get bored after,
After a while, yeah, because
2
again,
weeks of
yeah,
playing it.
yeah.
But then around that time, Helldivers 2 came out, and boom, I've got another thing to play again,
Yeah.
with all my mates.
And it's still going strong.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
And I mean, the community fought back. I don't know if you saw that. Like, if you don't know, because it was a PlayStation exclusive, but it's also on PC, they were saying that all PC players have to sign into a PSN account.
Yes.
Which, number one, is kind of annoying,
Yeah.
even though a lot of publishers do make you sign in now to play their games.
Yes.
But, because it's PlayStation and it's kind of, they are a publisher, Sony, but they also are a console manufacturer. So it kind of makes you go, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is PSN accounts aren't in all the regions.
Yes.
Which also made it people go, well, now I can't play the game.
I mean, can we be honest and say that Steam fit into that drama as well?
Yeah.
I bet, yeah. Because,
Oh, yeah.
see, my only comment about this, if you wanted to enforce, no, let's put it in a more professional term. If you wanted to gather more data
Yeah.
and get more clients, that's fine by me. But you could have either done it at the launch of the game or have something enticing enough, but also optional, saying if you created a PlayStation account and you signed in, we're gonna give you this awesome thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you
Okay.
can, but you don't have to.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
still don't find it awesome? Okay, cool. Stay as you are.
Yeah.
Because right after that, also Sucker Punch came out and said Ghost of Tsushima would not require a PSN login.
Because originally they did say that it was going to. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they were like, but if you want to play the online thing, which I didn't know that it still exists, they were like, if you want to play the online thing, then no, you have to sign into a PlayStation account.
Yeah. I mean, look, the community did fight back with
Yeah.
Helldivers 2
Yeah.
straight away, and they basically went, okay, we won't do it.
Yeah.
So that was great. And the funny thing is they had the amount of
Negative
bad
reviews,
reviews
yeah.
that they got on Steam because of that was like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
But also hats off to the PC players out there for
Yeah.
doing I love that operation cleanup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look, I don't know how people haven't learned already. Don't mess
With PC players.
with your fan base in general.
Just PC
If
players
you-
in particular.
Yeah, yeah, especially PC players. They
Especially,
are
yeah.
just on it.
I mean, because
but
see,
yeah, don't mess with it.
But at the end of the day, like if I'm a PlayStation fanboy, for example, or a big fan, let's not use the word fanboy. If I'm a PlayStation big fan, I wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah,
Because I'm already dived in. Like I'm already knees deep into the whole ecosystem
yeah.
of theirs. So I'm like, it's not gonna take 2 minutes for me. But the question is, why did you have to do this for people that that are purely PC players?
yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
Either way, it's all done and dusted now. The players won, so that's great.
Yes. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Now, kind of moving on, actually, talking about these, I guess, conglomerates, right? You've got Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, pretty much, right? Now, obviously, Microsoft and Sony have just been buying left, right, and
Studios,
center.
yep.
Studios, left, right, and center.
Yep.
Microsoft maybe more, but here's my thing. Well, I've got a few points here. Number one, they're buying so many studios. I mean, Activision Blizzard was like ridiculous, and obviously it took a while, but they got there in the end.
And it's still gonna take a while.
Still going to take a while.
Yeah.
But then you kind of think like, is it a good thing? Now, if you actually look at what Microsoft have been putting out since they're buying all these studios, it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're forcing games onto studios. They're doing not the best job because they're rushing their timeline. It doesn't look like they're getting the support they need. And then they're basically going and axing their whole studio.
Yeah.
A studio that's been around for a long time, that they paid a lot of money for, and has a lot of really good people and creative people that know how to make games, but they're not utilizing their strengths.
Yeah.
And not really supporting them, and then just basically going, hey, we're going to save a bit of money, goodbye. Right? So I think that is, first of all, horrible that is happening. Like, what was it? Arcane, one of the Arcane studios got shut down recently.
Yep. And Tango, the one that did Hi-Fi Rush.
That was the Japanese studio, right?
Yeah.
Also, Microsoft have been saying for years, we need more stuff in Japan.
Yep.
And then they've now got one studio in Japan,
Yep.
and then they axe it. And Hi-Fi Rush, I mean, I don't know if you've seen, since they announced, since they said they're going to close down the studio, the Hi-Fi Rush has now got an overwhelming support on Steam.
Of course. And
for positive reviews.
And overall, it has 4 million players.
Yeah. It's not a bad game.
Which is higher than Final Fantasy 16 when it came out like last year. For
It's
example.
crazy.
And you're saying this is a huge game and this is an indie game. The issue with this is now, if you're noticing, we're four years into the new console, right?
Yeah.
If you go back
4
into
years,
if you go back into, also you had like 2013 the PS4 came out and the new Xbox came out, and then 2016 2017 was pretty much like what we're going through right now, which is 2023 2024. You had a lot of good games last year. Now it's the middle transition of, you have two transitions happening: the refresh cycle, which is the PlayStation 5 Pro, the new Xbox all digital one, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And how everyone is trying to move to digital. And with that, for some reason, with Microsoft as well, like buying things left, right, and center, like in the past 2 to 3 years, how many studios did they buy? And now, 2 years in...
Too many to count, yeah.
2 years in, you canceled a lot of, like, you just axed a lot of good franchises a lot of people are waiting for, like Dishonored.
Well, that's the thing. They were like the guys who made Dishonored 1, right?
Yep.
And you're like, well, everyone's waiting for a new Dishonored. Does that mean it's not going to happen, or it's going to happen with people that have never worked on a Dishonored game before?
Yep.
Like, what? It just doesn't make you feel like, oh, we're going to get the game we want with the new Dishonored, right?
It's asking a lot of it's bringing up a lot of weird questions. First of all, your main point of buying all of these studios to give them support because you have Game Pass. So 2 or 3 years later, after you buying all of these studios and you shut down 8 or 9 of them, how is your Game Pass doing? Because, for example, consider me as a casual gamer. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna see that, they have Dishonored, they have Hi-Fi Rush, they have this. I'm gonna subscribe into Game Pass because I want to see sequels to these games.
Yeah.
Oh no, but wait up, these studios doesn't exist
Yeah.
anymore. Then why am I buying it? That means your Game Pass is not doing well.
Also, I heard that Game Pass has kind of plateaued.
Yeah.
They got to a certain amount of people on Game Pass, and it's not increasing. It's staying around the same amount of people
Because
year on year.
Game Pass didn't change for a while. Like you had the PlayStation and you had the PlayStation Plus, and then you had the revamp last year, I think.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference. Like, we were giving you new games, we're giving you this, we're giving you that.
Yeah.
With Xbox, how many games since 2020 came out exclusively for Xbox?
Yeah.
That's one. Two.
And how many good games?
Thank you. How many good games? Redfall, like the Redfall, for example. Redfall came out and
Yeah.
and I think it's done, right?
Starfield.
Starfield. Although they're still pushing Starfield, and I think they're gonna keep pushing Starfield for at least 2 years.
I mean, look, Starfield wasn't a bad game. It was a 7. 7 out of 10. It was a good game, but
It was the same thing as No Man's Sky. And look at No Man's Sky now.
Yeah.
So Starfield is gonna be one of these slow burners that they have to go with it. But if you're seeing all these like closures and everything, Microsoft is left with Fallout, Skyrim, and Gears.
yeah.
What else do you have? Nothing. Then why should I come to your console? Because you have Activision? Fine by me. But how many of the PlayStation owner or fans are gonna actually migrate to Xbox just because you're gonna get more exclusive stuff on Call of Duty?
And they haven't even said if you're gonna get exclusive stuff on Call of Duty.
They're still figuring it out, right? Because they
Yeah.
promised a lot of things, and now you cannot go back on them. And,
He said for 10 years I will not take Call of Duty off PlayStation or something like that.
Yeah. So
And it also doesn't make sense. Even like the Final Fantasy Rebirth, right?
Yep.
They haven't actually. Normally they post about how many sales they've had, and they haven't, which makes people believe that they weren't as good. But then they have now said, yeah, we're probably going to put our next game out on all platforms and not have an exclusive.
Thank you. Yeah, this shows you shows you enough that doing things exclusive doesn't win anymore.
But that's the thing. They always say though, they don't make enough money from consoles, right? They know that they make a loss on consoles or break even or whatever. They're not making money from consoles.
Okay.
So why? They're buying all these studios, so they obviously are going down a path where no, we just want to make more games and make money from games. So you're going to make more money from games if it's on both platforms, right? So instead of trying to fight over whose console is better, because let's be honest, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, really.
It depends on what you use it for. It. Yeah.
Yeah, but realistically, the differences are quite minute between the power of the CPU, GPU, RAM, whatever. It's going to be pretty similar, right? Not one is way better than the other.
Yep.
Just focus on making really good games and selling the best games you can with all the studios you bought.
Yep.
I mean, look, have your exclusives if you really want, but if you like, in my head, I'm just like, I kind of don't get it. I don't have an Xbox, and to be honest with you, there's not a game on there that I've gone, oh, I wish I had an Xbox. PlayStation, yes. I'm like, oh, Last of Us,
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, God of War. Yeah, there's so many. It's
Horizon, and
exactly.
It goes, yeah.
Even Helldivers 2,
Yeah.
and there was another one recently which I'm blanking on, but Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Yep.
When you look at that and you look at like, okay, well, fair enough. Like, I'm glad I have a PlayStation because I can play all these games.
Plus the PlayStation Plus games, plus the catalog that you have.
And I have a PC as well, right?
There you
so
go.
people go, well, Xbox Game Pass. I'm like, I can just get Xbox Game Pass on my PC.
PC, that's it, yeah.
And to be honest, I don't have time enough to play all the games on Xbox Game Pass.
And it's also the same thing. Oh, I have it on console too. I have it on PlayStation too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what would be easier? So there you go. I mean, don't come and say, oh, when we bought these studios, we were ambitious, but 2 years later, oh, we didn't know how to handle 8 to 9 studios. We're not saying that they're big studios. They were saying that we're small studios. So,
and they're just a money machine, Microsoft. I mean, maybe their gaming department has like obviously a lower budget than obviously Microsoft, but at the same time, like, you bought these companies and they're now in your care. It's not just the people that work there. That's number one. But it's also the legacy of what that studio has done and built over the last however many years. That's really what you're protecting.
And
legacy.
if you kept some people, where did these people go? Because so far what we heard, the Microsoft team has been divided into 3. Fallout, Skyrim, and Gears.
Yeah.
So then what? So that means, that also brings a question when Hellblade 2 comes out. A month later, we're going to hear that Ninja Theory is shut down. You have Obsidian, I think they're working on that game.
I know the game you're talking
Indiana
about.
Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah, I'm so worried about them.
Yeah, so does that mean that Obsidian is going to get the axe right after you guys release a game that we're not sure if it's going to come out this year as well?
And what's the other one? Machine Gun Games, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's loads. And a lot of them have got projects going right now, and it's like, oh, if they don't make $1 billion, they're gone, kind of thing. That's what it feels like now.
Because now with Hellblade 2, where is your marketing, for example? I don't see marketing anywhere.
No.
Yeah, I don't see like a huge push.
No.
So that's a bit worrying, considering that this is your first party title exclusive.
Yeah.
That you have. So why you're not celebrating it that much, even if it's a short game?
No, I agree. It's a scary time to be in. But then you look at Nintendo. They've obviously had good years, but they've had some bad years as well. In the, was it Wii U era?
Yep.
They had some bad years. Did they fire anyone? I mean, I'm sure they fired a couple people for probably doing something that was like, just
not studios.
bad for the company.
Yeah.
Someone's done something stupid. But they haven't like, mass fired people on the scale that anyone else has ever done. They try and promote inside their company that you have job security, and that you'll be with us for however many years. Someone was talking recently about the what are the characters? You know, on Wii, you have the
me figures.
yeah, exactly. So apparently that was actually something that they put in like 20 years before, right? But they didn't really have the technology for it, and it didn't really work, so they didn't end up doing it. 20 years later, they're building this new console, they've got this new thing, and someone who has been working there for over 20 years and remembered that went, hey, remember what we did 20 years ago? We made those me things. It didn't really work then, but do you think it will work now?
No, yeah.
And then boom.
There you go.
I mean, that was one of the highest selling consoles ever. And also, did you know, Nintendo Switch era right now, I mean, I know it's been a longer era than most consoles. They've been,
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've made more money in these last 7 years than they have from anything previous put together.
And I'm laughing because every time I saw a podcast, and the host got stuck that Mario Party has more than 20 million players and counting. Yeah.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
We're not talking about the super editions or like the super Mario Party. It's just like talking about Mario Party. 20 million people.
I mean, how many people still play Mario Kart 8?
Thank you. And
I bought that last year, and it was full price.
The other good.
How long has it been out for?
That's the other good thing. Nintendo has this policy of, oh no, whether you're gonna buy our game day one or you're gonna buy it 5 years later, there's no exclusion for anyone. The person that bought it on day one will pay the same amount of a person who bought it 5 years later.
No discounts.
Yeah, I mean they do there's 2-3 sale. Once a year, but again,
the sales aren't that great.
Breath of the Wild, it's 7 years now, still $60.
Yeah.
Mario Kart still the same.
Yeah.
And it's selling
crazy.
year after year.
Yeah,
and it's selling year after
like
year.
I said, I literally bought Mario Kart 8 last year. How long has it been out?
Since
I can't
2017.
remember. Yeah, like a long time.
The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that we have is basically since 2017 when the Switch came out.
I was a little bit disappointed that I had to buy it full price, but you know, fair enough. And because I love it because all of their games are exclusive, right? But that's what they do. They don't flip flop. They go every single game that is, made by us. Number one, they're all bangers.
Yeah.
So it's fine. You're like, I'm okay with that. If it's only on Switch and I have to buy a Switch to play the games, it's fine. Because at least you're going to get good games year on year. And Microsoft and Sony, I mean, you are going to get some good games with Sony, I think. But with Microsoft right now on Xbox,
it's been questionable.
You don't know if you're going to get a good game. So I do respect what, Nintendo have managed to do. They've stuck to their guns.
Nintendo from the beginning, they were like, this is not a race. We'll do what we want. We'll focus on our main core value, which is family entertainment system.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that.
I did hear one thing recently, which I thought was really good. It says, Microsoft are making games to make money. Nintendo make games to make money to make more games.
Yes.
They're not doing it to make more money.
No.
And then full stop.
Yeah.
They're doing it, all right, we got more money. How many more games can we make now?
And you see how protective they are of their IPs and their consoles and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this is how it should be.
And I tell you what, they're geniuses. The Tears of the Kingdom. How big was that game? And what was the GB? It was like 15 gigabytes.
Yeah, it was a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah, huge for Nintendo.
But came in.
But what I mean is, you look at Warzone or whatever. It's like 150 gigabytes or something nowadays.
That's every update. We're not talking about the base game.
That's what I mean. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How they managed to make a game on an inferior console that was only 17 gigabytes or 15, whatever it was around that.
Yeah.
Look that beautiful and be that expansive. I have no idea.
You see that the cycle that we have here, like now, Stellar Blade, for example.
Yeah.
Stellar Blade is an amazing game, and it looks like it's an eye candy.
Yeah.
You know how big it is? 30 gigs.
Wow.
So finally, developers started understanding the device that they're dealing with. And so far, you and I both know that we didn't see the full potential of the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
To even start talking about PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah.
Like the only person that will be able to push the PlayStation 5 to the limit is going to be Kojima. with Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the good thing about these guys, and we've been talking about the Switch 2 for at least 2 years now.
Insomniac got kind of close, I think.
Yeah, that
with
too.
Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man 2.
There you go.
They were really starting to go, okay, wow, we found some really cool stuff we can do with this console now. But I do completely understand what you're saying.
But because, see, again, it's not a race with Nintendo. When we have things ready, we'll deliver it for you. When Breath of the Wild came out day one in 2017, it was amazing.
Yeah.
For Nintendo standards, it looked amazing. And it ran very smoothly and everything because, these guys, they've been working on this device. They've been perfecting this device. They've been having enough time for their developers and everyone working on these games to have enough time to get familiarized with the device.
Yeah.
Unlike the other consoles, comes out 4 years, the refresher, 4 years, a new console.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you didn't even utilize that full console.
Yeah,
I'm surprised during the Dubai Esports and Games Festival event that happened 2 weeks ago, a lot of customers are still asking for PS4 games.
Yeah?
Yeah. You would think that they were asking for PS5 games, but no, they're asking for PS4 games. Which brings another
Interesting.
question for you as well. Are the sales numbers that we're seeing about these consoles actually true? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess who knows, really, right? Because they're getting the data from only the source, I guess, really. And that's just how many they're shipping out to people. It doesn't mean they've actually been sold in those stores. It's just how many they've sold on.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
thought.
that's what Nintendo does. Nintendo basically gives its devices, gives everything its proper time, so that when I release something as big as the Nintendo Switch in 2017 with day one, the Breath of the Wild, I know what I'm delivering, and I know that even if you came 5-6 years later, and you paid full price, you'll be paying full price because I'm delivering to you an experience from A to Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. No.
Food for
It's cool.
thought.
No, definitely.
Yeah, food for thought.
I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Switch. I have a PlayStation 5 and a PC, but I kind of use them for different things. I mean, I have the luxury that I'm able to do all three.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we got the Nintendo Switch because we were doing like a gaming event and we wanted something people could play on, so we bought it, to play some Mario Kart. And then I bought the PlayStation 5 again for another gaming event. So technically they're work expenses and I've just kept them. So that's all right.
Work expenses.
Exactly. And I use my gaming PC to also do editing on. So again, also a work expense.
I mean, listen, if you have a gaming PC, 100% you're going to be using it for work as well.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So it's just the explaining to yourself the remaining expenses that you have. But in your case, it's a work experience, so that's not a bad thing. That's a work expense, sorry,
Exactly.
so it's not a bad thing, yeah.
Let's move on a little bit. How far? We're about 40 minutes in, so we've got a bit of time left.
Yeah.
We've kind of already touched upon it, I think. But I did want to talk about the fact that, you've got these AAA publishers and developers and whatever spending 10 years creating stuff. I mean, who knows when, GTA 6 is coming out.
Yeah.
How long that's been in the works for.
Yeah.
Fallout 5 or the new Elder Scrolls or whatever. I mean, who knows when that's all coming out as well. It's taking people a long, long time. And sometimes, like Starfield, it's falling short a little bit.
Yeah.
Or Redfall, maybe. I know that wasn't supposed to be as big of a game, but...
Isn't Starfield update is coming out today anyways, 15th?
Is it today?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. I stopped playing it. I did put a lot of time into it, to be honest. I gave it its due because I paid for it, and I was like, I don't have Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So no, I actually bought it purposely because I was like, no, I want to buy it because it's going to be a really good game and I want to have it forever kind of thing. So that's why I didn't get it on Xbox Game Pass. But yeah, like it kind of fell short a little bit, right? Now, there's a lot of indie games that are coming out and absolutely smashing it. Do you think that the AAA title developers are going to start going, ooh, should we start putting out more games that take less time, that aren't necessarily look as beautiful and as big, but are just really good games that people can play? Because Helldivers, I mean, I'm sure it took a time to make that game, but at the end of the day, it's not the most complicated game compared to like a Starfield or something like that.
Okay.
What do you think?
The fun thing that we're having with all of this is the following, right? Studios and publishers and developers, everyone has been trying to double down on live game services. Right? Live service games.
Yes.
Yeah. Case in point, for example, you got Warner Brothers that came out and said, "Oh, we sold 22 million copies of Harry Potter, so the sequel is going to be a live service game." The issue here is very simple yet very complicated. The reason why indie games are getting the attention that it deserves is because you see Undertale, for example, done by one person in every aspect. And look at it. It was simple. It was good. The idea behind the success of independent studios is it reminds consumers that games is not about visuals and technology and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be as simple as easy on the eye animation, amazing soundtrack, and a good narrative with a story.
Yeah.
The issue that you have with all the, and again, if we're taking WB for example, now they're saying, oh, Suicide Squad is not meeting our expectations because you did it as a live service game, which is something everyone has been telling you not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as simple as, are you listening to your fans or are you not listening to your fans?
I also think there's too much coming from the Steve Jobs said this.
Yeah.
He said the marketers and the salesmen, they're the ones that are going to grow the company, and they end up the ones becoming the CEOs and the people that are the decision makers, and they kind of forget about the people who are actually building the technology,
Yes.
the creatives.
Yes.
They end up not really getting a say in anything. And it kind of feels like that's where it's going in the gaming industry, which is a creative industry, right? Like 100%. Every single game has something in there that is creative. I mean, not just one thing, many things. From, like you said, music, sound design, costume, sets, what is it going to look like, story. There's so much, and that all has to come from creative people. But it looks like the people at the top of these big, I mean, Microsoft and whatever.
You can take Anthem as an example. We all know what happened to Anthem,
I just think that they need to give these studios more support and more trust to go, hey, make what you want to make. It's all you.
Yeah.
If you mess up, don't worry. You'll get them the next time.
Yeah.
All right? Because not every single developer is going to make a game and it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, of course.
Right? It's just not always going to happen. I'm sure they can still be a good game. But if you actually give them the support and the time, and I'm talking like decades of time, not just, you got 1 year, oh, that was a bad game that we told you to do and we didn't really support you on it and now we're firing you all. That's not it,
Because keep in mind that the technologies keep changing day in, day out, right? So by the time they nailed something, the way it moves this way or that way and today, and then something else comes tomorrow, then start learning that new thing.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of delays, which is fine. We've been saying as of late, a delayed game is a good game because that means they're giving it time and care and everything. But when you delay games and you keep delaying games and you see the games being delayed for 10 years now, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and the end result is still bad, no, that means your focus here is not your consumer. Your focus here is how to get more money.
Yeah. And
the good thing, as of late, we've been seeing it. You've been seeing a lot of backlash with a lot of things. Helldivers, the Star Wars Outlaws editions, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. The good thing is you're having a lot of people that are finally fighting back and saying, no, you know what? This cannot fly.
Yeah.
Yes, we're asking you for realistic games and everything, but everyone now have this thing where like a game comes out on day one. If it's not complete, if it's buggy, oh, it's fine. They're gonna fix it with time.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be the case because back in the day on the early consoles, you have a release date. The game either comes out or it doesn't. And if it came out and it was successful, good for you. If it wasn't, there is no updates.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
They
have the luxury now, which is a good and bad thing.
So you didn't have the technology back then, but you had amazing games. You had the technology now, but you have good games.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I think personally, I mean, obviously I love to go onto a game and it looks incredible. Right? You're like, wow, look at the graphics and look at all that building or whatever. Great. But to be honest with you, I think I would prefer to just have more good games that I really enjoy that look pretty good than really expensive, amazing looking games that are buggy and boring.
Yep. Exactly.
To be honest with you. I mean, Hades, for example, Game of the Year. Like Zelda, Game of the Year. Like these aren't I mean, obviously they look really nice, but in their own way. They don't look photorealistic. Zelda, anything from Nintendo, it doesn't look photorealistic. It's its own art style that looks nice.
Yep.
And I really like how it looks. But they haven't, it's not Unreal Engine 5. You know what I
Which
mean?
is fine. I mean, again, gaming is a form of entertainment, right? So that means entertain me in any shape or form that your imagination is giving you. Yeah, I'm seeing the story that you want to tell through your game. So if you're gonna give me a buggy and broken game, then was the story buggy and broken?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Give me again. We're not asking for photorealistic games. We're not asking for this and that. Give me a game with a good story, good sound design, good animations. I'm not saying photorealistic animations.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be good to go. Again, case in point, you had Hi-Fi Rush. Came out of nowhere. No one anticipated it. No one did it. No one expected anything. You ended up with 4 million players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have a lot of other games that even didn't complete the year and died already.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Pal World's numbers are, but I'm sure...
oh, no, they went down, like, massively.
Yeah. I think they had a lot of... I mean, look, they still made their money, I'm sure, and
I mean...
they were happy in the end.
Don't forget, it came right after Baldur's Gate 3, so I'm sure people got, like, tired eventually. People got super... Not tired, just, like, fatigued.
Yeah.
If that's the word, yeah. They got fatigued because, I was playing a lengthy game a while ago. Now I'm playing something else, but with people online.
Yeah. I got to be honest, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet.
No way.
And I mean, the main reason is because everyone goes, oh my God, that game is amazing, but it takes like 90 hours.
Yeah.
And that is the reason I haven't played that game yet. What I'm going to do, I think, is just like take 2 weeks off at some point and obviously hang out with the family and whatever, but then just play a couple hours of it every single day, and then after that 2 weeks I'll have my fill and I'll get off it.
Yep.
But I mean, I've heard so much. I mean, I've obviously watched loads of gameplay about it. I've watched people streaming it, and so I do know what it's like. I just haven't physically played it myself yet, which is sad. But I have been playing a lot of Dragons Dogma, Dragons Dogma 2, which is obviously also a really good game. I did write my notes. I can't remember what else we said we were going to talk about.
I think
did we nail it all?
I think we nailed it.
I think we nailed it
all.
all.
I think we nailed it all.
Well, okay. I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. We're about 50 minutes in.
Okay.
Ali, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
coming
me.
and hanging out with me.
Well,
anytime. Actually, I've come to hang out with you at ZGames store, Dubai Hills Mall.
Yeah.
You've got some new locations coming out. You've got locations all around the UAE anyway. In the Middle East as well.
In the Middle East.
Middle East.
We are in Dubai, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, Al Ain, and soon in more locations. We're also in Saudi, in Qatar, and Oman, and also soon in more locations. So if you guys want to know more, just follow us on Instagram, that's ZGamesME, to get to know about all the latest new games releases, discounts, offers, activities, you name it, we got it for you.
Nice, that's amazing. And follow the podcast. We'll do what you need to do. Make sure you follow ZGames so you can check out all the content we're going to be doing with them, like my PC cleaning. Actually, I wanted to talk about that. Yeah. Can you guys help me with some new RAM, CPU? I've got a GPU, don't worry about that.
Okay, are you sure?
Well, I've got a 3070. If you want to give me a 4090,
you sure it's connected?
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, man. It's always great to hang out with you guys.
Likewise.
And we'll see you on the next podcast number 34. Don't forget to follow and all of that stuff. Bye.